It was the case that put a former Gold Coast officer in the dock over a leaked video, but instead put police culture on trial. Rick Flori didn't testify in his own defence, but three of his colleagues involved in a violent arrest captured on tape were called to give evidence. That evidence reveals a litany of serious misconduct allegations against them that mostly came to nothing. Josh Robertson reports.
Noah Begich handcuffed by police minutes before he takes a beating under Surfers Paradise Police Station. The violent arrest, captured on video in January 2012, wasn't the first to trigger a brutality complaint against some of the officers involved, nor was it the last. Rick Flori, who went on trial for leaking the video, says the officers were members of a group at Surfers Paradise known as Team 2. He says that team was on the Crime and Misconduct Commission's radar.
Well, they actually profiled that team prior to the Begich arrest. So they had been under scrutiny well before this, and relatively little or no action was taken to curb their behaviour.
Two other former Gold Coast officers have told the ABC that Team 2 had a reputation for using excessive force. The Crime and Corruption Commission declined to comment. But the trial revealed that three of the officers who collared Begich were investigated over 21 other claims of serious misconduct. Senior Sergeant David Jolcom was in charge that night. He washed away Begich's blood but denied seeing the assault. Jolcom told his supervisors he'd checked the video and the force was proportionate. Ethical Standards investigated him 8 times. 6 complaints were of allegedly assaulting prisoners, 2 in the weeks after Begich. In court, Jolcom could remember none of them, but agreed they weren't upheld. He was also adversely named in a police misconduct inquiry stemming from his time as a detective in New South Wales.
Well, it could raise a red flag.
Begich's assailant, Senior Constable Ben Lamb, admitted dropping a knee into him partly because he thought he was a Maori and likely to be strong, and to punching him 6 times in the head with full force. Lamb was investigated for allegedly punching 2 other handcuffed prisoners in the head months earlier. The complaints were not substantiated, but he received further training after striking and pushing a prisoner who fell into a wall. Also present that night was Constable Robert Johnston. He was cleared of wrongdoing, but twice refused to answer questions in court to avoid incriminating himself over other matters. In 2015, he was investigated for violently choking a teenager who filmed an arrest on his mobile phone. A magistrate found it was an unjustified assault, which resulted in a secret payout, but no disciplinary action. The only person charged after the Begich bashing was Rick Flori for leaking the video evidence.
Do I want to send the message that if you beat a chained, defenceless prisoner for no reason, you are going to be prosecuted? In fact, you will be prosecuted and kicked out of the police force. Or do I want to send the message, do not embarrass us?
Ethical Standards investigators maintain the officers could not be prosecuted because Begich withdrew his criminal complaint after receiving a confidential payout. But legal experts, including former top New South Wales prosecutor Nick Cowdery, say a case can proceed on video evidence.
It would appear to me the only reason that they avoided criminal charges was because of a culture or an attitude on the part of people within the service to protect their own.
Ethical Standards recommended disciplinary action against Lamb for excessive force and Jolcom for failing to report. But Jolcom avoided punishment altogether when he retired a year later, just in time to qualify for higher superannuation. Lamb was given suspended dismissal and remains an officer on the Gold Coast. Constable Robert Johnston quit the force last year while under investigation for stealing drugs, assisting prostitution and misusing the police database to stalk his ex.
The result is really as was predicted. The officers suffered no consequences essentially for their actions. It's a disgrace. It's the way it's gone on for a long time.
Jolcom and Lamb declined to comment. Johnston could not be reached by the ABC. The police commissioner declined to be interviewed, but a spokesperson says the public can have confidence in internal police investigations. Josh Robertson, ABC News, Brisbane.